Good evening, everyone. It is March 17th. Happy holiday, I guess, but it's 7 p.m. Welcome to the Wayne Township Board of Trustees meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
You may. Mr. Kaufman?
Here.
Mr. Jacobs?
Here.
Ms. Colvin?
Here.
You have the quorum, ma'am.
Great. If anybody failed to sign in back there, we'd appreciate it if you put your name down there so we know who's here. Let's do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've had 3 meetings since the last one, and we have approval for the March 3rd meeting. That was just you and I, Andy.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of March 3rd.
I will second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the March 3rd meeting minutes, say aye. Any nays, like sign, motion's carried.
All right, then on March 5th, it was all 3 of us here. Yeah, so approval for March 5th, please.
I'll make a motion to approve March 5th.
I'll second.
All righty, voice votes. All approving the March 5th meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, like sign, motion's carried.
All right, then on March 12th, it was just Andy and I, and I'll make a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, voice vote to approve the March 12th special meeting minutes, say aye.
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 Any nays, like sign, motion is carried.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any additions, rerolls, or disclosures or changes to the posted agenda?
We do.
We do.
First, adding Joe Garrett to the agenda to speak on energy aggregation. We are adding resolutions 2026-36, 2026-37, 2026-38, 2026-39, and 2026-40. And then we're adding a discussion about elite computers under new business, as well as under the work session, discussion about a janitorial proposal.
Okay. All right, it sounds like an interesting meeting, so. So to start it off, I'd like to welcome Magistrate Carrie Heisley to come speak to us. Welcome, Carrie.
I don't want to take up much of your time because I know you all are very busy and you have quite an agenda tonight. But I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Magistrate Carrie Heisley. I am currently a magistrate at the Warren County Common Pleas Court, and I am running for judge in the Warren County Common Pleas Court. So you're going to see my yard signs popping up here this week if you haven't seen some already. The wind really wasn't conducive to setting some of those up this weekend. But Judge Beeler is retiring, and there is an open seat, and there hasn't been an open seat in some number of years, so I am running for that seat. By way of background, just briefly, I have spent my entire career working for the county. I have been an assistant prosecutor for 15 years. The last 8 of my tenure at the prosecutor's office was prosecuting cases in the Common Pleas Court. I tried some of the most serious cases our county faced. I tried 2 death penalty cases to verdict. I handled some very serious child sexual assault cases and sent some very bad people to prison for a very long time. I handled drug cases, embezzlement cases, a wide variety. And then the last 5 years, Judge Oda appointed me to be a magistrate in the Common Pleas Court. And the magistrates in the Common Pleas Court preside over civil matters with damages in excess of $25,000. So for the past 5 years, I have handled those cases as well as civil stalking protection order cases and all of the criminal arraignments that come through the Common Pleas Court, which are all the felony criminal cases in the county. So myself and 2 other magistrates handle those. And we run the docket for the courthouse. We wear many hats there, but for the past 12 years, I have been deeply immersed in the Common Pleas Court, and that is why I feel I am uniquely qualified for this position, and I'm ready to start on day 1. We've implemented a lot of technology, and I know you all use technology here. We are very transparent at the Common Pleas Court. We are live streamed on YouTube. You can log in right now and see a dark courtroom, but at 8 a.m. you'll see cases beginning to start. So we're very proud of that. We're very proud of our ability to service our law enforcement partners, and we have implemented a paperless search warrant process where officers do not have to drive out to a judge's home and knock on the door and wake their family up in the middle of the night and leave the scene. They can call a judge on the phone and get a search warrant done electronically. And we're very proud of that. That has been a huge help to our law enforcement partners in being able to handle their business more efficiently as well. So those are all things I plan on continuing, and certainly am ready to start, like I said, on day one. So I thank you for your time. I don't want to take up too much of it. I appreciate you allowing me to speak.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. And walking in the door is Joe Garrett. You are up, sir.
Oh, well, that's making an entrance. It's like coming to the ball.
Yeah, you've been a minute later.
A minute later, you were out of
What was
line.
that? I got you. Yeah.
So, welcome, Joe.
Well, hello, guys.
Hi.
I got some stuff for you. I don't know if you guys were down at the, here, Stacy. We're talking on the phone.
Yes.
Stacy. Here, I brought one for you. We've always had blue pens, and this year they had white ones.
Thank you.
I know you were down there, I saw you.
I love your pens.
Sorry, guys, something. Yeah.
So
I'll trade it.
I'll get you guys a couple, I got a box in the truck, so.
You're all right.
Yeah, we're,
This will be important to you.
So Joe's gonna talk about our energy aggregation.
Yeah.
In the township, so.
Thank you.
thank you. Here's some trend lines.
Okay, so
Crazy.
this is the document ultimately we're gonna ask you guys to sign, which is the same thing we did a year ago. So, what we did a year ago, you guys gave us authority to purchase, which we did. On the natural gas, we had a 2% off the adder rate, and, which isn't much, right? Cheaper than the, let's see what happens. The adders got re-auctioned this year, we did 12 months. You gave us authority to do 2 years, we did 12 months, with the thought of if we don't bid, we'll continue the adder until such time. Part of that is because rates the last couple of years have been fairly low on gas compared to this past year, 2 previous years. So when you try to tell people, hey, 65 cents is a good deal, they go, what, are you crazy? So that's what we did. Well, since the adders came in much lower, which is good news, the 2% is not available. So it's either put people back to the utility or do a fixed rate product, okay? So CenterPoint, if you go from March of last year to the end of February this year, I'm doing that because I have the data for that data points. The average CCF cost for the residents, if they're with the utility, was 77 cents. What that is that's if you take what the price was at the utility times the amount used in that month, multiply them together, and divide it all out over total usage, that's what you get. And the reason for that is when they use the most of it over the winter, it was extremely expensive this year. Okay, so we know that. Right now, of course, their market's a little elevated, but we would like to replace that with the fixed rate product. Probably the addendum we have, and we could do that, except for the addendum that we signed limits us to 60 cents or less, and that's just not gonna happen. We won't be able to do that. But when you compare it against 77, that gives you some room. So we're thinking probably closer to 68, 70. Not right now, we gotta wait there's a little bit of mania in the marketplace because of what's going on overseas. I don't think that's a long-term issue. But this would give us the ability to fix that price. Now, if you go back, so the last year 77, previous year, you're in the mid-30s. Year before that, you were in the lower 40s. The year before that, you're back up in the 70s. Okay, 76, 77. And so I don't know that we're gonna see those 30s again. We've got some upward pressure that's gonna, I think, hold those gas prices up. We have some new liquid natural gas supposed to come on this year. We got hopefully some pipelines that are gonna be getting built. And there's also, actually, one of the council members in Waynesville, because they've signed this, because we put you guys and Corin, Harvesburg, they saw together, as well as Salem and a few others we have here in the county. They signed it, but one of their gentlemen works for Centerpoint, and he was aware of this. And one of the issues you have with gas is we have a ton of it in the ground if we go east, right, northeast. Problem is we don't have throughput in our pipes. So basically, the toll road for gas is getting full. So we think it's a good idea to do. If we're wrong, people can opt out. But here's the problem that we were hearing from residents, because the residents call us, okay? I hand out my card with my cell number on it. Trustees give out my cell number to people, and I talk to them. I like talking to them because it kind of gives you, it's one thing to come in and talk, we're the aggregation company, and then you got the trustees, and really great. Well, you learn a lot when you actually talk to people about what's bothering them. And what I took away from it is, it doesn't really matter if the utility is 35 cents, 40 cents in June, July, August, if you use none. Who cares when 1 CCF? It's a whole nother thing when it's $1 in January and you could have had them 68 cents. Because that's what you're hearing, is it's the big bills that are causing the heartburn. So I look at it again as kind of a safety net, that if they do that again, they can get into the program, because if we don't do it, once the prices start going sky high like that, you can't do it, and people are stuck paying that, and they're not gonna be able to go anywhere at that point. When they get that bill and go, oh my gosh, there's nowhere they're gonna be, the market's up, there's nowhere they can go. So, on the gas, we think that's a good idea, we'd like to have the opportunity to do that. Like I said, I know, Waynesville's already signed this, a week ago, whenever the last meeting was. On the electric, we did 3 years, which we have secured. We did not know what the capacity charges were for years 2 and 3. But we said, hey, let's secure the actual generation. Whatever capacity is will get added to it, because everybody pays capacity. It does not matter, it is a pass-through. It's generated industry, our market, the PJM grid-wide, it gets put in place. And we ought to know those numbers here pretty soon for the next year. There's some final tweaks, there's some usage numbers and some other things that get factored in, so we know what the options did. Remember, capped out, because they put a high and a low on that in the last 2 years, it's capped out. And it's gonna continue to cap out. Matter of fact, I'm expecting to see them push them to raise that cap in the future. There's already been some communication. If you read through the trees, what they're doing is they're setting the stage to do that. But I think what you're going to see is some of our competitors are now starting to come out with their year 2 pricing, because they only did 12 months. The reason for that is when you went to the suppliers last year, which we did, they said, we'll only do 12 months because we only know capacity for 12 months. So we'll only do 12 months. We're like, any price is going to just keep going. We're not in a good place here. Generation versus supply, demand and supply. So we said, well, why? Why don't we just take the capacity out? Because that's the unknown. That's what you're worried about. Well, yeah. Well, then just let us buy the raw power, and then you add capacity on. So they, hey, sure. And from my understanding, we're not the only ones that did that, and it's gonna look really good. I think last year I told you guys, hey, years 2 and 3 are gonna look better than year 1. Ours is going to adjust, it will adjust, it wasn't all bought at the same price. I'll have that number here coming up. I don't think it's gonna go, not going over 10 cents, but it's gonna go up. But those contracts that are getting redone now from our suppliers are like 9.8 to 10.3, 10.4. We're not gonna be that high. So I think it was a good call, okay? So this graph is important. It's on the screen, it's all multicolored, but for what we need, it's not important. What this graph is showing you, these lines, there's 5 years of futures, because when you buy this stuff, you're buying on the future market, it's commodity market. So it's 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And what it's showing is the last 24 months, if you would have bought any of those years in that month, what you would have paid. This line right here, that's when we bought. So what it shows you is we bought at the right time. That's intentional on our part. And so when we ask for authority, what we're doing is we're wanting the ability, so when those dips like that happen, we can cash in on it. As part of this contract, it allows us to further that out to 2030. We think you should extend that out to 2030. Because there is nothing that we see that is going to bring pricing down, it's gonna continue to go up. And if we don't do it, again, it's up to you on this, but if we don't do it, we're gonna be renewing, because we're good through May of 28, but when we go to renew that, we're gonna be way higher than what we could be if we buy now. We have a company that owns Traybell, also owns another company that does all large commercial, and like, they have like state departments, you know, the Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources, they provide power for them, Bath and Body Works, corporate, that kind of stuff, all over. Those groups are all buying through 2030. And the reason they're doing it is they see the same thing we see. And so we think, it's not like we're gonna run out and buy tomorrow, but right now, if 29 and 30 do this, I can't buy it. And so part of what this also does, besides the gas, is if it does this again, I'll have authority to buy it for you. And I think we should. Because that plant, we don't see that plant. I don't know, I know you do some transmission line work, don't you?
I don't, I'm in distribution.
Okay, distribution, but
Yeah.
we don't see any way that new plant that got announced going in Portsmouth before 2030. We just see no way that thing comes online. The turbines, the standard turbines are back ordered through 2030.
Yeah, and everybody's trying to buy them right
Yeah,
now too.
yeah, and there's no gas lines there.
Yeah.
So maybe year or two, if we find some announcement that no, it's not going to 32, then we'll probably be having the same conversation then. Because it's not good. I think the danger point in PJM is like 166,000 gigawatts of power or something in any one moment of time.
Yeah.
That's where that's like the nervous line, right? That's the bad things happen above this.
Yes.
And last July, we hit 160,000.
Yeah, I remember seeing the alerts come out.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's not.
That's not good. And so that's what's driving. So the fact that we not only do we watch it, but Traybell has the parent, we have guys out watching this all day long in the tree. So we have a computer program that generates all this, right? So we're watching it all the time. So between what futures have been looking like and that scenario where how much we used, we would not be representing you well if that wasn't our recommendation.
So your agreement here is for the gas?
It's got both of them in it.
Yeah, it's got the gas and the electric up to
Yeah,
2030.
yeah, we tried to make it a little bit more simple.
Yeah.
And all it is it's an addendum for limited agency authority for us to buy electric and gas for the aggregation program on your behalf, under set rates. The rates on here are a little bit elevated, will be cheaper than that. The electric that's in here does not include capacity, because we don't know it for 29, 30.
And it's
So-
the exact same thing you're doing for all the
Yeah.
areas, okay?
Yeah, like I said, I think I've had 7 communities signed so far out of 7. But Waynesville was one of them. Now, we'll do the same thing on electric with Massey, and Harrisburg, but they don't have gas. So we're, the folks that were this gas issue is who I'm talking to first,
Yeah.
trying to take care of that problem, but I don't want to then come back and go, oh, hey, by the way, we need to do this too. It should be, because you don't know when that's gonna happen.
When do
It
you
could
need
happen.
this by?
What's that?
When do you need this by?
Tonight.
Tonight? Okay, all right, got it.
I would like to, latest April.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause we have a 3-week wall before our next meeting. Just
Yeah.
wait.
It's basically what we did last year, it's just going into effect.
Okay,
The language is exactly the same, we just changed the price points.
okay. All right, thank you, Joe. You
Thanks.
guys have any questions?
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
No, thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Good presentation, thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Sure.
Very good.
Okay. We'll take a look here before the end of the meeting, for sure. Any citizens' comments tonight? Anybody?
Dave Albers, Mount Holly Road. Evening, board.
Evening.
I missed the last couple of meetings. On vacation. Actually, I was partying with Gretchen Wilson, country music star, 2 weeks ago in Florida. Thinking about you guys though. The reason I come here tonight is I went back to the website, your township website, to look to see what the minutes were for the last few meetings. Last time I seen anything or anything that has been posted was in December 29th of 2025.
Okay. Well, we've had some issues with our administration in a way, so I'm gonna get, I now have access to do the website, and that was one of the things I
Can we
thought
get
we're gonna
caught
get.
up on that
Yes,
so that I
definitely.
can read it and
Yep,
be refreshed on what I
yes.
missed?
Yes, that is,
Okay.
I
So you
didn't know we
were
were
aware
that
of
far
it?
behind, I didn't know, I thought we were maybe just one meeting behind, I didn't realize that they had not.
Nothing in 26.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, if we could get that up there, I
Does Gus
appreciate
pull
it.
those from SC View, or do you send those to him?
I sent them to him.
Okay, all
Right,
right, I'll get with you.
I'm asking.
All right,
Thank you.
we'll get it, thanks. Dave.
Cool, thank you.
Any other citizen comments? We got one. All right, all
Andrew
right.
Fessler, I live up on US 42. There's 2 things I want to touch base real quick with you. Thank you, board, for your time. I think I sent an email to all of you, just awareness in regards to, we all are very familiar with property tax movements and whatnot. And I recognize that none of us want to pay taxes, but I think it's important, especially for this township, I've obviously been here about 20 years, is that we make sure our messaging to our residents helps them understand where those taxes go. I'm concerned that maybe there are individuals in the township that don't fully understand, the inside mill, the outside mill, and how that impacts them. And so as progress moves with different state efforts to address that, it could negatively impact the township. And I do believe local funding is very important to allow us, as really you on our behalf, to spend those dollars specific as they relate to township services. So we're just kind of following up on that, because I didn't hear back from any of you as to if there's value that can be had there. Again, I'm happy as a resident, because I care. I'm happy to come and sit with any of you or Mr. Edwards or whoever to just kind of let you recognize some of the different AI tools that can use public information to help create that pieces together, because I think that's usually the roadblock of what I see with a lot of our clients. I own an IT firm, so that AI isn't going away, and so we get asked daily by different clients as to how can we do things better. And so I just want to make sure that you guys were aware of that, specifically as it relates to communicating property tax and how that's computed. So yeah, appreciate what each of you do, appreciate what you do for the township and us residents, and if I can be of assistance along with you, I'm happy to do that. That's all I have.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, thank you, yes.
Any other citizens' comments tonight? All right, moving on. So our screens aren't working, so we're scrolling ourselves. Road Department report, Mr. Scott Cameron.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
First of all, did each one of you get the email I sent out earlier today?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, with that being said, I'm gonna stand by my report as submitted, with the exception of going to item number 6 regarding the bridge and the retaining wall down on Old State Road down the bottom of Dacon's Hollow. First of all, do you have any questions? Or was I clear as mud?
It was clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explains it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a good deal for the township. I mean, the county engineer was very generous. They, you know, when I called that morning, the bridge engineer and one of the county inspectors was there in very short order. We batted a couple different ideas back and forth, came up with a plan, and I actually had I forwarded that email that was sent, so I had that plan that day. But you know, we had a lag between meetings and blah, 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 and all that good jazz. So basically what I'm asking the board, is approval for me to request a purchase order from the fiscal officer for up to $10,000, knowing that we're not gonna get there. Like I said in my email, we should be landing right around that $5,500 to $7,000 range. And that's just material. You know, the engineer's gonna throw their labor in, I pledged our labor and any equipment that we can, you know, help with, as well as the guardrail work and things of that nature, and we're looking at getting that project done before the end of April.
So let me ask the question,
Sure.
is that one of those bridges that's owned by us or by the county?
That is the county bridge. When we were standing out there, both of them looked at me and said, Scott, we'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for that bridge there, you would be on your own. So,
Yeah.
that bridge is big enough that, you know, it's so 10 foot and under is us. Anything over that is a county bridge. So, and that structure, we're estimating, because the drawings and things that Dominic Regano had didn't really have a date on it, but we're estimating it to be in the mid-70s. So just over the years, we're gonna put some very large stone, C's and B's, which are boulder type stones. We're gonna lock that in there, and then potentially grouting it in with some concrete. Hopefully the water stays down.
It hasn't affected the road at all.
Not yet. Not yet. The way that wall comes in, it comes in at an angle, actually shoots toward the middle of the road, behind the wing wall of the bridge, with another, I mean, we're not in immediate danger, but it's definitely something that needs attention sooner rather than later. But it could start to boil in there with, you know, with a high water event. And if it starts eating behind that wing wall, then we've got problems not only with the bridge, but we've got with the road bed.
Right. Was that put in the appropriations? Probably.
We
Is that,
put in a little, and transfers out for situations just like this, for in case of emergency.
okay.
So we do have money available, or appropriated and in the budget. If I'm not speaking out of school, Mr.
No,
Fitz.
you got it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions about that?
No.
Do we want to do that, or?
Make a motion to go ahead and allow $10,000 to be spent to fix this project.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yeah.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
This motion's passed this 17th.
So I'll make a requisition into the system, with the fiscal officer and get that PO started, and then it'll run through its proper course, you know, throughout the organization.
All right, thanks for your attention to that.
You're very welcome. That's really all I have concerning my report, unless the board has any questions or has anything they need to pass along to me.
No, I have none.
Very
Thank you.
good, thank you very much.
right, moving on to the fire department report, Chief Beckett.
Good evening, board, thank you. Start with personnel, hiring of Carson Hively as a part-time firefighter EMT. He lives here in Waynesville and is interested in working, works part-time at the city of Franklin now. Same with EJ Goshinsky. He is a part-time firefighter as well. He lives in Spring Valley and is currently in medic school, so that will help us in the future. The resignation of Jack Mannon. He was a volunteer with us. He called me early last year and he had hurt his shoulder. I think he said he was skiing or something. So he's been off. And so I reached back out. I hadn't heard from him in quite a while and he turned in his resignation. I met with Lexapol. We were supposed to meet yesterday, but we didn't have internet, so we moved it to today. And I sent you that proposal. That number will be prorated more because as I was talking to them, I said we probably will not onboard this if we do anything until the new administrator's in. And then we started talking about price, so that price you see will adjust, it will be prorated down. And then also there's, I asked for a significant discount that she said she would work on, so about 30% less than what you get, than what I sent you. I walked through Station 92 with the Deatons and just went over some stuff with them. They seemed pleased. All right. Approved the fire department portion of the Saddlebrook Estates plan. There's going to be several hydrants. That was my concern. Hydrants and width of the circle to turn around. Make sure the fire trucks can get to turn around. We're doing some adjusting to equipment on both engines, moving and kind of pairing them up a little bit. Assistant Chief Lodge and I attended the Ohio Fire Chiefs Winter Symposium. Some of the legislation that is going on. House Bill 20 is getting large support, and that's for prohibit harassing emergency service responders. So people coming up into our scenes and bothering us, that'll be a larger charge for that should be good. The one that affects us mostly is the House Bill 280, is the police and fire pensions contributions. What that is right now, if we had a police department, the township pays 24% for firefighters and me, and to the Ohio Police and Fire Retirement Fund. Police officers pay 19%. So that legislation is to bring it both up to 24% to bring them up. So that's got good. The other one that's important to us is Senate Bill 195, volunteer firefighter legislation. They're working on getting, like everyone else, like many states, the shortage of volunteer firefighters. So they're supporting recruitment and retention. They're talking about possible tax breaks and things like that for people that serve as volunteers. So that's getting some support in the Senate. Community paramedicine, they're good with. And then we had a good session on tax reform and the impact it will have on services statewide. We did a board forum with Representative Thomas Hall, who is from Butler County, Bill Romer and Dave Thomas, and it was interesting because Thomas Hall is a younger guy. Bill Romer is kind of a middle-aged, and Representative Thomas is an older guy, and they all three had different answers. They were like, it's never happening. Representative Thomas, it's not gonna happen. And Representative Romer was like, it might happen. And then Representative Hall was like, it's probably gonna happen. So it was interesting seeing the three, and they're all from different parts of the state.
Yeah.
So we're looking at that. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gotta get traction. It's gotta get the signatures to get on the ballot and then go from there. So to the point, we need to be proactive in showing what we actually get and what our taxes are used for. So thank you. I did see a copy of that email. I like that graphic. But, one of the chiefs asked, what happens if this does go through? And they all three unanimously said, well, January 1st, you have no money.
Right,
So, there's the good news from our
that's good news.
conference. We did go over some other community care medicine and stuff. It was, all in all, it was a great conference, talking through some things. Our crews did a mega code training last year. That's where we simulated cardiac arrest, went through that. And this week we have flow path and ventilation training. We've got a little dollhouse that Captain Walker has built. So we'll set a small fire inside of that, and there's panels, and so that the people can see how fire moves through a simulated structure.
Are you gonna videotape that?
Huh?
You gonna videotape that?
Yes,
That'd be cool.
yeah.
Okay.
Sam, you're on videotape.
Yeah, you're on videotape.
Community engagement, I met with representatives from the library for Fire Prevention Month literature. We're going to pick out some books and have some of our FEMA-funded literature there at the library and do a little, they've got that case as you walk in on the right, we're gonna put some fire stuff in there. And then we're gonna come talk to the pre-K and preschool groups during Fire Prevention Month. And then also chatted with the Good Works Farm. The Good Works Farm is a farm that takes disabled adults and lets them work around the farm and stuff, and they're gonna come visit the firehouse one day in April. So that's all I got, unless you have any questions.
Well, good report. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to zoning, Ms. Lilly. Our multi-talented.
I'm not going. All right, so mostly the magazine, I approved the final printer's draft today, so that should be on schedule to mail out to the beginning of April. And as I mentioned, I have asked for a work session to talk about the magazine going forward, due to some upcoming changes. Just a note here about the new subdivision, Saddlebrook Estates. They've applied for preliminary plan approval. I've reviewed their plan. It's in conformance with Wayne Township zoning requirements. It's a 36-acre development. We will get 15 single-family lots out of that, all 2 acres or more, right around the 2-acre mark, not large lots. And that's scheduled with the Warren County Regional Planning Commission Executive Committee on March 26th. I've been talking with the Country Lakes developers. They're working on their entrance landscaping plans and their gateway signs. The zoning does not require like the entrance landscaping, but we do require the thoroughfare buffer yards along 73 and Township line. And just, of course, all the paperwork has been submitted to the prosecutor's office regarding the fire station, and I'll be reviewing the ARPA report requirements, which would be due April 30th. I have not started on that, but I have found files that relate to that, and of course we have that website to help guide us through how to create the real ID and everything that I'll need in order to get into the system on Jess's behalf. And that's all I have.
All right. Any questions?
Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks, Steve.
No administrative report, so on to our fiscal officer's report, Scott Fitzsimmons. Ooh,
Well, do you want to do appropriations now or later?
that's what
'Cause I don't really have much of a report because I've been
because
so
that's what
buried
we've been
into
working.
appropriations and other issues.
Let's do it.
All right, let me pull that up.
All right.
Yep.
So I did, create I sent you guys a summary as well. So I created a summary just to make this a little easier to consume. I think she's gonna pull it up for us as well. That's the,
And this
That's
has changed, this has changed since that original one you sent us, right?
well, just a little bit, yeah. That's the spreadsheet, but there should be a summary you got as well.
This is the email that you sent.
Yeah, just so you can view it, because I knew, you got, there we go, that's that.
Yes. Okay.
So some of the numbers are just a little off, and that was because we had some added in an additional 20K for elite services, buying of the server and on all of the additional equipment. So that's really where, it was kind of, more we just added on. So the, general fund, we've increased that by 312 or 39%, to cover, the transition of the, new, admin, and then, of course, the retirement package, going out. And also included the parking lot. We were gonna, I guess, price that out.
It'll go to bid with the resurfacing bid that the county does.
So that kind of explains the increase there. And the road and surface, go ahead.
Is this the page that?
Yeah,
page do you
yeah, I'm just
want
using
us to
that,
see?
and we can scroll down further. Once we get into the fire department. Road and bridge, largely that was heating, energy use. So there was just a minor adjustment there. Fire district, basically, that was largely that as well. The fire fund B was the one that had the most significant change, which would be including the capital for new SCBA's, a Cascade Air system, and a new fire command vehicle for the fire fund B. So we have really 5 drivers here, so it's the capital for the fire department, the administrative transition, information technology contracts, and the professional services and long-term planning. I did add in there as well as the reserve fund study, that and there's a little bit of a driver for that, the new website, and additional technical services, which is part of that IT package. So those were the drivers and the changes that we had. You want to go down further in terms of what changed from or temporary to permanent?
I mean, yeah, you just explained what changed from temporary to
Right.
permanent, right?
Right, well,
Or they- or the
wanted more
proposed
information,
changes,
but
I should say.
that was the cause of those changes. Currently, so.
So I'd like to have maybe some discussion on the fire fund B changes. You guys wanna talk about that? So those were the most significant, right?
Mhm. So there was $360,000 set aside for the SCBA's, and the air cascade system, which would fill the SCBA's, and then 105 for the new command vehicle, or to replace the current one for the chief. Those were the big pieces of that.
I guess my question is whether we wanna do that this year or wait till after we get the capital improvement study done and sell the old fire station. Cause those are things I think that are in flux also, I guess.
You're talking about-
And pass the levy, the renewal levy. So those are.
You're talking about holding off on the purchase?
Yes,
Okay,
for this year,
for both of them?
for both.
For
Yeah.
both.
Could we get by another year with those two, with the current vehicle and the current SCBA?
How old is the current vehicle?
It's 2019, and it was slated to be replaced in last year. I can do another year, and it's not a problem. And it would not be 105. The quotes I've been getting and looking at it, be in the upper 80s, just,
But then is that with the add-ons, so the.
yeah, that would
bells and
be all
everything?
in with the upfitting and
Okay.
graphics package. I would like to,
You said the big-
Delve.
You're talking about the big truck?
No.
no,
the-
the Chief's car.
Tahoe.
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 That's not a critical thing, it's more of a want than a need. But it is getting to the point where we need to look at replacing it. I would like to talk about the SCV and the Cascade system a little more. I think that's more of a need. While the SCBA's we have are 6, 7 years old, they are a constant maintenance issue. And I understand when they got those, they got a deal on them because they bought them off with another group purchase, is my understanding. They're Interspiros, they're not a big name in the self-contained. Interspiro is a scuba diving company So I think almost every fire we have a face peak sprayed or a pack breaks, and there's no local service. We have to box them up and send them to Georgia to get them fixed, and it's a long turnaround time. So that keeps them out of service longer than we'd like. If we go, there's three main SCBA's, Draeger, Scott, and MSA, which are all available locally. I don't even know who the Interspiro dealer is anymore. I don't think that the company that we bought them from deals with them anymore. So I would like to make that a priority.
Is the Cascade system separate from that?
Yeah,
Or
so
is that-
Cascade
they have to be
system
bought
is
together?
the old Cascade system. We've been wanting to replace that for a while. It came from the old station, and I don't know, Jeff could probably tell you what year it is. Our last maintenance, they said it's not a matter of how it's going to not be useful here shortly because it's so old and it's hard to get parts for it.
Is that where you refill the cylinders
Yep.
from? Okay.
Yeah.
And you keep track of the maintenance costs on it, because you said a couple of them broke and stuff like that. Do you know what that is?
Not off the top of my head, I'd have to go back and look. I don't have that readily available. I can get that to you.
Yeah, because that would be good to be able to make a decision on that too as well.
Yeah.
And then see what the maintenance costs are and how that's getting with the purchase price.
Can you get us some numbers in April?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to have permanent appropriation.
Yeah.
I know.
Right,
Just because you appropriate
Right.
money doesn't mean it has to
Right.
be spent.
Yeah,
Right.
spend it.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
so that was
Okay.
that was basically it, in terms of changes from the temporaries. Unless you guys have any further discussion, the resolution will be coming up soon.
I do not.
And the last thing,
Anything else?
that I wanted to touch on, obviously, is the, since you guys, I think you all had the packet on the reserve fund
Yes.
study. And then just, there's a resolution tonight in order to approve it and to engage that. I talked with Clear Creek. He's very tickled with the numbers that it came back to him, and he's gonna be working with his board to get that pushed through as well.
Okay.
So likely, we will get it at the $11,000 price range, because he seemed pretty happy about that. But there's a resolution as well for that. Any questions you have, because I know, Brad, you weren't here before, and didn't know if you had any questions about it.
No, I think.
So that's all I have, really.
Okay. All right, then let's move on to, old business is, the main name's not really on hold, we have that already. Let's see, looking at my list of extra things, I wanna make sure. All right, new business, do we have any questions or concerns of the bills?
Do not.
I do not either. I'll make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
I will second.
All right. Will be a roll call vote. Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Ms. Colvin,
Yes.
and Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
This passes.
Okay, then moving on to legislation. Our first one is resolution 2026-35, which is the hiring of Carson Hiley as a part-time firefighter 1 EMT. I think the chief already said that, so I'll make a resolution to adopt I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-35.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote. Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
Ms. Colvin.
Yes.
This resolution adopted the 17th day of March.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Hively. All right, motion, resolution 2026-36 is a resolution making permanent appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of Wayne Township, Warren County, Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026, that we just discussed. I think I would like to take the vehicle off of it. That's my
And that's fine with
change
me, I
request.
think you should too. We can hold off on that. I don't know if that's what we do, or just
You
basically
leave it
just.
the way it is, and you just don't spend the money.
We can do that. So you wanna make a motion to approve the appropriations?
Because of the way you want to do it, then you're not approving the appropriations.
But if he can adjust the appropriations right now, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But you can adjust them.
I can drop it right now. So, but I mean, we can move with further resolution. So it's reducing it by 105,000 to the fire fund B. And that would be the resolution. So, okay. Now, do that,
Yeah.
'cause we can do that.
Okay, so I still make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-36 minus the vehicle.
I'll second that, I'm sorry.
All right, we'll have a roll call vote to Mr. Kaufman
Yay.
and Ms. Colvin
Yes.
and Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
All right, this resolution is passed the 17th day of March.
All right, moving on to, 2026-37 is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a proposal from Miller Dodson Associates for a reserve study and authorizing expenditures. So this is the one where they would do a capital fund, study of us, so it would put us out into the future, it's gonna help us with our future spending. And it's gonna be either 12,500, or if we get it with Clear Creek Township going in on it, if they do it also, then we get it for $1,000 less, 11,500. So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-37.
I'll second. I'm sorry.
Which is it?
I second.
Okay, roll call vote to Mr. Kaufman
Yay.
and Ms. Colvin
Yes.
and Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
This resolution is adopted the 17th day of March.
Next is resolution 2026-38, which this is the resolution to hire E.J. Edward Goshinsky as a part-time firefighter EMT. I will make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-38.
I will second.
Okay, roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Ms. Colvin,
Yes.
and Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
This resolution is passed the 17th day of March.
The next is resolution 2026-39, which is a resolution accepting the resignation of Jack Mannon from the Wayne Township Fire Department. So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-39.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote to Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
And Ms. Colvin.
Yes.
This is passed the 17th day of March.
Okay, the next is one that's not on everybody's thing, but it is going to be resolution 2026-40. You have it? Yes. Okay, that's it. This is why the Tetons are here tonight, so we've been having discussion on the fire department, just gives people a quick background, selling the old station, and we've discovered that the lots, the 3 lots that are there need new surveys in order to get it through underwriting for the Deatons, and we were informed that legally we don't have to pay for the survey, but we thought it was the right thing to do. So this is a resolution there's also a secondary problem with a small section of property that appears to be owned by the township and a neighboring property. So this is correcting that as well. So This is approving and authorizing the board president to execute a written proposal with Ellison Surveying, Inc. and the fiscal officer to pay invoices related thereto, and authorizing the county prosecutor to negotiate a resolution of the conflict between a township deed and the deed of an abutting property owner, ANLL Restaurant Property LLC. So this will get things further along. So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-40.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yay?
Ms. Jacobs?
Ms. Jacobs.
I'll say yes.
Roll call vote, Mr. Jacobs? Too much.
And I'll say yes.
Okay, all right, this motion is passed, or resolution passed the 17th day of March.
All right, the next thing is our May 1st health insurance renewal.
What I didn't see on there was any other new business, real quick, and something that came up today was Core Tractor Show has asked us to do another $500 donation.
Okay.
That came up, so
Okay.
it's been appropriated, it's something we typically do, so
Right.
I'll make a motion for us to go ahead and donate $500 to the Core Tractor Show.
Okay.
If you're all in favor of that.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yay?
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
This motion is passed.
Okay. So next is, we wanted to talk about our May 1st health insurance renewal. I think we all received an email on that with the, oh my gosh. Stacy, do you
Who
have
said
that?
that one?
I do not have
We
that.
do not have that one to pull up. That is,
Unless I can visit in the administrator.
dig through my old emails here.
Who's the one sent it? Was it Stacy?
It was, no, it was Scott, I think. Didn't you send that to us, Scott?
Yeah, the guest and I received it.
Yeah. If somebody finds it, let me know what date it was sent out. Too much stuff.
Did you find it?
It's on Wednesday, 3/4. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so basically, Scott, you checked with Frank Harmon, and if we wanted to go ahead and do the renewal at, it was about a 9% increase, I think, on
Yeah,
current.
it's just a little over 9%. He said
Yeah,
that,
which is under,
yeah, he said most of them are going about 15%, and we were lucky to get it that low.
right, that was mine. So do you guys, what's your thoughts on going shopping?
You try to shop for some more.
Yeah. Or just take the,
Shop is good.
you think shopping's good?
Yeah, better idea. You might confirm some of these deals, I don't know. Agree.
Okay. Scott, do you want to inform Frank that we want to shop?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's decided. Now let's talk about this elite software proposal that Tanner sent out to us this morning.
Do you know which of these emails? Let me just open it real quick and you look and see. which
Don't,
one.
oh, no, don't open it all. there's some, just for the audience, there's some stuff in here about cybersecurity that I really don't want displayed up on the screen. So, it's just things that Elite has been, so Elite's our new IT provider that we have, and they've been doing some updating to our systems and putting various agents on everybody's computers, and, so it's an email about what has been done so far, but then there's some more upgrades we need to decide on. So I did talk to Tanner in that first one on the server upgrade to get rid of the, yeah, it's really not a lease. It is a hardware as a service. So, because I know, Scott, you had concerns about
Right.
if it was a lease that we had to go through the prosecutor's office, but they're calling it hardware as a service. It's not, we're not technically leasing that machine. Because there's no terms of lease or anything like that. So it would be $175 a month to do that hardware as a service versus $9,500 if we wanted to purchase it, which then we'd be on the hook for any errors or anything that happened if that server failed or whatever. But if their piece of equipment is there.
What did they say about our current servers?
They're totally out of date. They are vulnerable right now. So they're on old software also. They're on Windows 2012 or something like that. They're on ancient.
What
I
about our
believe the term
desktops?
they used was incredibly out of date.
Yeah. I think we've gotten away for a long time without having spent any money on those upgrades at all.
But the same thing like the insurance, I'd rather have a couple quotes on that too. I mean, to see and compare.
But there are IT vendors that we already chose.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
That's no problem there, but you can also compare and see what else is out there. My question is that Tanner's been talking to him, right? So I don't know all the details. I don't know if that server they are providing there probably has enough memory, has enough information. All we're talking about is what, how many computers do you guys have? There's 3 computers here, I would imagine, right? You got Stacy, you got one, Gus has one. Scott, you have one?
I got one, yeah.
Okay. So you're talking about several computers. I mean, you're not talking about a whole system like what we have.
No,
at work.
this is a server.
Mhm.
It's not a laptop or it's not a
No,
computer.
I know that. What
Okay.
I'm saying is the laptops are there. We only have 3 or 4 users using it. Do we need that big of one anyway? Is my question.
It's for the whole township, it's not just the fire department, it's for the whole township.
Right.
Okay.
It's for everybody. It's just housed at the firehouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I understand that part of it. So, I just had more questions. Let me just ask you that. That's my thing with it. I want to ask some more detailed questions to them, at least computers. I want to find out some more details. Do we really need to buy that one? Can I buy a smaller one? You know, because now we have SCView that can handle some of our stuff as well too. So, you know, I know the redundancy, I know the cloud. You know, we do a lot of the cloud stuff based in our environment and stuff too. So, I don't like the price. Let me just put it that way. That's my
All
thing.
right.
Well, I don't like the purchase option price.
I don't like the purchase option price, no. But the, hardware as a service price, what did he also said that we'd be paying for agents. We'd be paying for agents on the 3 servers that are there anyway. At, how much per agent is it? It says reduce it by, it's almost like we're getting it for free though, because we're gonna get reduced by $250 for the agents on the 3 servers, but then we're only paying $175 for the hardware as a service, so. Right, isn't
Per month.
yeah, per month.
Should they come in and talk to you?
I think they need to come and talk, because it feels
Okay.
like I'm getting nickel and dime.
Okay.
From somebody coming in, I wanna know all the facts and all the stuff behind it first. That's my point to it.
Okay,
I will have Lieutenant Patterson set that up.
I appreciate
all right,
it. I can do Teams meetings and stuff like that too,
Okay.
so.
yeah, good. So for everything on here, you wanna talk about, to them about
So
everything,
you're gonna
all
put
of
it on
them?
hold then?
So the second one is the access control system.
Is it this one right here?
Number 2.
RS2. Not there either. That's what I'm just
Okay.
trying to. get on the same
I'm looking at
page.
his main, not Lexipol.
Because you get the two servers here, and now you get the,
I'm looking
The
at
force?
his main email, yeah.
oh, okay.
Oh, you're in.
Yeah, I'm looking at his main email, yeah. So I had questioned, this is gonna be a question on this too, so I do wanna hold off on number 2 on the LaForce, because if it's in the cloud and you had no spectrum at all yesterday, your internet was down at the fire station all day. So what happens if we have cloud control, that access control into the firehouse, and then we have no internet? What goes on? Can nobody get into the building if they don't have a physical key? So, let's wait till we get the answer on that one.
Okay.
Okay? Third one is, Microsoft licenses for each user, this is, we'll talk to them about this one too. Fourth one is the employee emails that, most of the, well, the part-timers on the department don't have, they're on the old wtfire.org, which is through our web mail that's gonna be going away with our old website. So, these are clients to go out and get everybody on what'll be our new domain name, so that they're not on that old domain name, and then they'd be putting the monitors on the emails to make sure that we don't have any, cyber risk coming through those. I'm sure they log onto their email on those shared devices there, chief? They log onto their emails there on those shared,
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a couple
the
different
big
computers,
computers.
or they log on their phone and
Right.
check it that way.
okay. All right, so let's, we'll set up have them set that up, and we'll go through all this stuff.
That'd be good.
All
Okay.
right, thank you. Is there any other new business that I missed? I don't think so. Oh, yeah, we have to talk about Joe, that's right.
Thank you. for
Yes,
remembering.
right,
He's sitting there patiently.
yes, he is,
In the front row.
yeah. I think it's a good idea to go do what Joe proposed, they've always been a good,
We already did.
it was done us right. I'll make a motion to, it's not necessarily a resolution, it's an addendum to, if we need a resolution for that. But I'll make a motion to accept the addendum to Traybell? Trebell, we always say Trebell, Traybell, for our energy aggregation for both gas and power.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Colvin.
Yes,
All right, this motion's passed.
okay,
Sorry, I didn't copy.
yeah, I haven't signed it. Is there any other new business that I missed?
We got Stacy's got the janitorial work session,
Yeah, we're gonna do that in a work session, yeah. Any correspondence?
that's from the previous meetings.
I did.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
I have a letter here from the State Employment Relations Board. There's a 2026 health insurance survey that was required to be done. The deadline was missed due to everything that's going on. They've given us an extension. These are not questions that, I called Frank Harmon, and he's going to complete this for us. He said there won't be a small charge, but there's a lot of involved questions about our health insurance, so hopefully that's, that's all right, that he'll be completing that for us.
okay. Any other correspondence?
I don't have
Okay. Elected officials comments?
I have none.
None, okay. All right, we're gonna go into work session, and this is, you want to talk about magazine first?
Yes.
Okay.
So, as you know, over the past, well, I'm guessing at least 8 or 10 years, we've put out the magazine twice a year. We've had a magazine designer, Stacy Castle, who has been with us the whole time. She has like ads on file and so forth that people reuse, so she kind of holds all of our content, and, you know, she's retiring, and so I thought this might be a good time for us to just decide how we want to move forward. So my idea is, like, instead of, do we want to continue with a twice a year full-size magazine with advertisers, or a thought I had was kind of striking out on our own and just doing, you know, a couple page, kind of folded newsletter that's, you know, it's just something that we mailed out ourselves with just our articles, or kind of more like our own bullet points, or, you know, just things that we want to get across to the residents, but not necessarily with all of the other community partners and all the advertising and so forth. So I just want to get kind of a direction from all of you, what you might be interested in before I need to go out and find a new designer. And I, you know, I didn't seek out any pricing for anything at this point, because I kind of wanted to hear if you're still wanting to keep it the same way, or, I mean, our current designer, another point is, I think she's very, very reasonable, so I'm not sure that we'll find that kind of design service for that price going forward. So I just thought sometimes if you change up the format a little bit, people pick it up and read it, you know, just kind of a fresh look and a fresh, maybe different frequency.
Was there any thought of like doing, collecting emails?
What did
To
you
be
say?
collecting emails off of residents? Instead of mailing, you can always email them as well. If they decide to do, I don't know if that would be anything that would be, for even able to do that too.
Has there been some, I know we've gotten some emails about those things, people, that services that provide that type of, more of a push kind of thing.
We got Stacy's information from Madison Township and other towns, that we brought her on board, so, they were using her, so that's what we came up with.
So, you know, part of the issue with the magazine is also, there's no math, I look at it as a math model problem, to balance the cost and get enough, you know, if you increase the number of ads and you increase the size of the magazine, there's no real way to make this work out so it's, you know, free, or something like sense. Not that I think it's a huge expense when we use, but, you know, we kind of are in a place where the advertisers kind of, they remain the same, and a lot of the newer businesses, this is not the method that they necessarily advertise, if that makes sense. So, just a thought, and just trying to get your direction and stuff.
Aren't we, what about that Waynesville magazine that goes out?
Yeah, they've taken some of our advertisers because of their frequency is once a month, and so, even though we're a lot more reasonable in terms of our costs, they've jumped over there because it goes out once a month.
I mean, could we get in with that somehow?
Think.
You know,
Putting our articles in.
Yes.
They said that, I believe when we met with them when they were starting, that they are not government, they're what we are not.
okay.
Is how he goes, we're not competing with you because we're not doing what you're doing. We're not representing, you know,
Governmental agencies.
governmental agencies. It's more community interest, and ours is more putting out a message of what,
So you want to minimize it to where you have that tool and minimize the cost as well, right?
well, yeah, well, I was just thinking about how this, on this magazine, the fire levy wasn't an article, it's more of a, what looks like an ad, you know what I'm saying? So I was thinking maybe if we went to that kind of format, just like something, you know, old little, it would look more like advertisements and articles, and we just had a few pages, and we, you know, we sent that out, and maybe just the
How
change.
many pages did our current magazine turn out to be?
So our current magazine's anywhere from 22 to 26 pages.
Like the city of Springboro, they send out, I think it's a quarterly one, there's usually probably around 10 to 12.
See, because we're working with so many other groups, I mean, so the school and the library might do, 9 to 10 pages between the two of them, and then, all the other groups.
We charge them,
We
charge
charge, yeah. But, just thinking through whether just that's what we want to continue to do is put this out on behalf of everyone, and do we want to spread out and just do something different? And I don't have to have an answer today, obviously, but.
Well, I'll ask the residents here tonight. I mean, how many of you read the magazine? Do you enjoy the magazine?
I read it electronically suitable for me.
I
The
would,
content's what I care about.
I would say, so we get both the Waynesville Neighbor magazine, we advertise in that one on our business side of things. We obviously get the Township. Have you reached out, I would consider reaching out to them again. They do have the frequency that the Township magazine does not, but they also welcome writers. So we've been asked to write and submit articles. I have zero interest in doing that, but from a Township perspective, would it be road department every 3 months? Road department submits an article, fire another article the next month to consolidate that 3-month quarterly magazine. You spread it out over a month instead. Does that make sense? It might be something worth talking to him about.
The only thing is, I know that, I don't get that magazine, because I'm in Oregonia, so I'm out of so there's a little,
Okay.
not an overlap to, you don't get it either,
Yeah, I think it went by, first it started out with certain houses, they tried it, and once that worked, it's probably the zip code now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's always adding more. It's definitely worth the talk with.
I don't get it. You don't get it either.
You don't get it all? Oh my God.
What's your zip code?
5068.
You're 6'8", okay.
I think they're probably routes too.
Yeah.
Something because the post company has routes where you go to, sometimes you go to Springboro, it's
Yeah.
just fine.
It's like with our magazine, it's a picture of the ground, or the pen picks, but
Yeah.
we have to check it against the map where it went.
All right,
Okay, so there's
What's your question, Dave?
I was just gonna say, I do like the magazine, and I think you have to look at the postal cost of a big magazine, 22 or 26 page, that you said, versus something that's folded in half, probably done on a copying machine at Kinko's or whatever. I think it would look cheap going down, maybe reduce the size to begin with, might help, instead of 26, maybe go 10 or 15 pages, that might save you a little bit of dollars, but,
Yeah, and I don't think it's so much about, the cost, we've not done high costs per item, but if you shrink, then I've got to remove some
Right.
entities from the magazine, so that kind of where we're at is where it has to be to support the school and all of those other agencies, but anyways. And I would still want it to be printed by the same, by the printer, still printer quality.
Yeah, it's still nice. The printing board is nice.
It is.
Yeah, it is very nice.
We'll continue this discussion.
Can I give you this for janitorial?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey Diane, I don't live in Wayne Township, but I live in Turtle Creek, and we used to get a magazine, and then they switched to like a paper front and back. It might be worth reaching out to them, because we're not a gigantic township either. So if we all they switched to magazine to front and back, like a laminated almost thicker copier paper, and it works. It's like the same thing, it's almost like the same amount of information, and we get it once, maybe every 3 months, updated, and it works great, so it might be worth reaching out to Turtle Creek and see what they say, cost-wise.
Thanks. Okay.
All right, so the next thing I have is, as you know, our cleaning company, our main cleaning company, which comes once a month for heavy cleaning, left us. So they merged with another company. So I've reached out to a number of companies to get a proposal. 2 of them declined to quote. So I have this one quote which is $350 per month. They come every, twice a month. So that's a good price. It's about the same as what we are paying. We're paying $170 a month right now for one time, so it's consistent with what we have been paying. So I know that at an earlier, meeting, we discussed, our current, cleaning lady that we have, that comes also once a week. And it said that if we went with this twice a month, that perhaps we would drop that service. But what I'm wondering is whether it'd be possible to go with this twice a month and then offer her whatever to fill in the opposite weeks, because otherwise, like our restrooms and things are only getting cleaned twice a month. And so that doesn't seem sufficient. And if we could just layer the two of them, every other week we get a lot heavier cleaning, and the other weeks we would get like the restrooms cleaned up and whatever else. I can make like a list of what we want her to do. And what's the cost of, is it like
It's
$10
like
a time?
$550 a year.
$550 a year, so.
Right in there, it's less than 600.
So $300 a year for that, plus this. So,
Okay,
Kitchen and restrooms.
kitchen, restrooms, and
yeah.
she generally sweeps up loose things that she sees around, but she doesn't mop or vacuum or anything like that, so she could still almost do the same thing. I think she's here a half hour, 45 minutes,
Yeah.
so.
So are these people local to Wayne Township, or?
No.
No? They say they're locally, and I didn't know what local meant.
They just.
Okay.
I had one that was scheduled to come yesterday, and they emailed me an hour before, and so they decided they were too far away, so.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what I could come up with out of 4.
And you tried.
I tried.
I don't know, it seems like a reasonable price to me.
For your due diligence and transparency, John Funk, Mayor Funk in Harveysburg owns DTV Distribution and Redline. He literally sells to janitorial companies. You might reach out to him and see if he recommends anybody, just so you can get multiple bids, just to kind of feel out your budget.
Yeah, that's a good idea. This is the same, kind of the same price we've been paying for the last 6 years.
I mean,
What is
personally,
it?
it's
JTV?
DTV, but it's
DTV.
Mayor Funk, John Funk in Harveysburg.
When do you need the answer by?
So when did we last get our cleaning?
So it has been 6 weeks since I've had a professional cleaner. So he used to come the first Wednesday of every month, so that was in February. And then our cleaner had been ill for a month, but she has been back a couple of times since then, so. And I haven't had any mopping or anything like that in 6 weeks.
I mean, I almost feel like I don't want you to have to be doing this stuff at all, and we don't meet for another 3 weeks, so.
I've been cleaning too,
I
so.
know, that's not your job.
No, scrub the sinks now and then. I will say that I know from our previous cleaner that it takes about 3 to 3.5 hours to clean this building each time they come.
Who'd
For
you
one
reach out to?
person.
Who'd you reach out to?
There's one called Sunshine Cleaning. They only do places that clean every day. And then I had another commercial cleaner. I'm sorry, I can't. It's fine, but you know.
CWD Building Services, Township.
There's just a lot
That's
of
who
them.
we're using, CWD.
Most of them, when you call, they just say they don't do,
one that canceled an hour ahead of time was out of Centerville, and they said it was too far
Yeah, it
away.
was in Washington Township. No, it's too far away. I just don't have the report.
I'll reach out to the guy in Red Line tomorrow, I'll let you know.
Thanks, Brad.
That is at 8:10 facilities stuff. Credit card.
Okay.
Kurt, do they do anything like that?
They don't do
He's all,
cleaning.
he's all mechanical.
Yeah.
No, Brad's gonna take care of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Share it tomorrow.
All right, anything else on janitorial? That's all. All right, next is, we would like to go into executive session for personnel matters, Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1, to consider the employment dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public official, licensee, or regulated individual. This is for the compensation, so I will make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, roll call vote, Mr. Coffin,
Yeah.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Collins,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, so we came out of executive session at 9 o'clock. I made the motion, and Andy seconded it. So we are back in regular session, and there's no legislation that came out of that. So I make a motion at 9:02 to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, like sign, motion's carried.
All right.
So Kate, tonight?